Today is March 9th, 2016, and we are here at the Charlevoix Public Library in Charlevoix, Michigan. And today we're conducting an interview with Jim and Sue Mabey, who have started an enterprise called the Clothing Company here in Charlevoix, but also some offshoots of it known as Harborwear. I am Ann Kelly doing the interview today. Well, hi, we're here this afternoon to talk about the Mabey family. We have Jim and Sue and their daughter Jacqueline Dipert, who now is the owner of Clothing Company. But way back when, it was Jim who first came to Charlevoix and got the ball rolling. So we kind of want to know, Jim, first of all, and Sue, before you came to Charlevoix, you were down in Pontiac. So we could entitle this whole thing from Jumpin' Jeans, right, to Cloco and Harborwear and beyond.
Sounds good.
Doesn't that sound good?
Sure.
So why don't you guys take us back to the beginnings, because on your Facebook or the web page, there's some pretty neat pictures of you two and kind of tracking the whole mission, if you will, of what you kind of envisioned in this store, the Clothing Company, when you first came here to Charlevoix. So, we'll get into the mission of that later, but take us back to Jumpin' Jeans.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, gosh.
Well, let's see, that would have been in the 60s. And I was a rep for Wrangler Jeans. So we thought, my brother and I thought, if we could open a store, we could sell jeans to ourselves.
Great idea.
And by the way, I don't want to tell you what the price of jeans were then, but they were $24 a dozen.
A dozen?
That's at cost if I were to sell them to
Oh my gosh.
a retailer.
Oh my goodness.
So I had this part of the state, so I traveled this area quite a bit. And there was a place in Onaway, believe it or not, that I was thinking of buying. What was the name of the store? I don't know what the name was, but.
Onaway, okay.
And so they also had a small store here.
Phase?
Phase. It was Phase in
Yeah.
Onaway,
Okay.
yeah. It was a huge place, monstrous.
Okay.
I don't think there was any business up there, but at least I could get up north.
Right.
So anyhow, we're up here looking in that area, and I think they also had a store in Petoskey too,
Okay.
near the downtown, across from Penny's there where the bank is and stuff.
Okay.
There was a Phase there.
Okay.
So I was interested in that, and almost bought it, but it didn't work out. So I guess I swung through here and I stopped at the
Work side?
wharf side, which really at the time might have been Neff's.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, wharf side, and called Sue on the phone and said, no. And then the Market Mall was just being redone. It used to be the old car dealership and stuff.
Right.
And Peterson was the guy's name that did it from Petoskey.
Okay.
What was his first name?
Pete Peterson.
No, it wasn't Pete.
But he was the one that was designing the Market Mall?
He was the realtor.
Okay.
Anyhow, so he took me through it, and they were working on it, still working on it, and it was not completely finished at the time. So I liked it. So I said, I'll take 3 stores.
Just for starters, huh?
One was the one where Darcy is now.
Oh, the lake house
lake
right
house.
now.
The lake house is now.
Okay.
And then we also had a Tom McCann shoe in the back.
Uh-huh.
There was kind of remember the restaurant from the guy from
Dapper Dick's.
Dapper Dick's
Dapper
Deli?
Dick's
Boy, they
Deli.
He
good.
was in the back.
Oh, okay.
But we could
Was
just
that
go out
Dick
the back
Edwards?
door.
Dick Edwards.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it was in
Dick Edwards.
where our shoe store was.
Sure.
But for some reason, they wouldn't sell to us anymore. Probably because we didn't pay our bills.
Oh, yeah. Bad rep, huh? So you kind of saw that area, bought up these 3
Yeah, so
Rented.
rented.
I was in partners with my brother down in Oakland County with the Jumpin' Jean stores.
Yes.
We were both salesmen for Wranglers,
Okay.
and the company said, "You guys can't run these stores and be salesmen too. It takes up too much time, you know." So I left,
Okay.
and he stayed, and
Go north, young man.
I said to Dick, "I'd like to buy you out, Dick," and he said, "No, I'll buy you out." I said, "Okay."
That worked even
So
better.
I'm on my way up there.
So at that time, did you have all 4 of the kids?
Yes.
Okay. And
Did we have all 4 of the kids?
Yes.
When we left our little town in near
Drayton.
it was in Drayton Plains,
uh-huh.
we had Susan, our oldest, high school, and Jem, kindergarten. So
Boy.
the 4 of us. So we had like 2 U-Hauls in front of our house and a trailer, and we loaded up everything, and the whole family came up here, and
How did you feel about that?
we
Sue?
just pulled away in these, trucks,
I like
and we
change.
came up here.
Good thing.
I'm in for change.
And Terry Salmonson sold us a farm out on Maple Grove Road.
Yeah.
Sue hadn't seen it.
Uh-oh. What did
but
I didn't see anything.
Susan, our oldest daughter, loved horses, so
Oh,
it was
perfect.
okay because we could have horses.
Perfect.
So I got that through all right.
So you settled all in there with the family, and you might like change, so it was okay. Did you throw some Wranglers in that U-Haul?
No, but we sure had a lot in the store when we opened.
I
We
bet
got
you,
paid in Wranglers. No.
I bet you do too. So that was, when you first came up, it was 1974, and then
Right.
Jackie and I were talking. She said in 75 was the year that the clothing company
Okay.
actually opened. So,
Can I tell you what happened
The
there?
one
Yeah.
in the mall.
I
in
can
the
tell you
mall.
that little story.
oh, good.
There was a dime store on the corner called Dahlquist,
I remember that.
which I loved the location,
Uh-huh.
So, I said, if I could ever get that store, I'd love to have it. Well, what happened is Mr. Dahlquist passed on, and they, by the way, they had 11 dime stores
In
throughout
Charlottesville?
Michigan.
Oh, in Michigan.
No, it had
Dahlquist stores.
West Branch,
Okay.
Onaway. I mean, towns I'd never heard of before.
Belair.
So anyhow,
Edmore.
so I came over and talked to them. I said, I'd really like to buy this building. And she wanted to get rid of them because her husband had passed on. And
Sure. So that's the present location of Clothing Company?
yes,
What's the
that was an old, that was the 5 and dime store.
All right.
Dahlquist.
Uh-huh.
Was that before your time?
Well, we came here in 71, so perhaps
No, it was still there.
that's still there.
By the way, we used to have islands there. One island would be with the cases around, and then there'd be a person in the middle. So one was like candy. Oh, we loved the candy cane. So we loved this thing. This was great, man. We get all this candy and
Wow, it came with the package,
and
huh?
you could do the jewelry. Anyhow, when I went to talk to Mrs. Dahlquist, she said, "No, I'm not selling. I can't just sell this store, but so we're going to sell all the stores." There were 11, so I bought all 11.
You did?
Yes.
I
So
had no idea.
and then
true.
then I had a
With the
a
park.
friend who was in real estate. His name was Don Snizik.
Okay,
Don.
I have heard of him.
And I thought, the gal says, not only 11 stores, there's one other thing. There's 9 buildings you have to buy too.
Oh,
Like East Jordan,
my gosh,
Wayne City,
yeah.
Mansalona. I mean,
That sounds like
they
floating
were
alone.
all over.
It was.
Boy.
How did you arrange
So
that?
anyhow, we ended up with 11 stores all of a sudden, like overnight.
Uh-huh.
And then Don Snizik and I were thinking, well, we got to think of a name for this. And we thought about using our names together, but he said, he came up with it. Your name is Maybe and mine is Snizik, so we'll call it Snisbees. So we renamed all the stores Snisbees.
This
And,
is so funny. I've never heard this
No.
before.
Yeah, you've never heard this one?
No, I had never.
Snisbees,
Yes.
great.
And
So
little
how
by
long
little.
were Snisbees around?
Oh, until, well, what happened is these stores were huge.
Sure.
And they were like 5,000 square feet, you know, like the store is here. And they were all heated by oil. That was the year that we had an oil embargo or something, I don't know.
French, yeah.
Okay.
But the oil got so expensive that,
Yeah.
and the customers would come up to the counter with their basket, you know, shopping cart, full of 5 and dime items. So, you know, there'd be a full cart and it'd be $3.50, please.
Wow.
It didn't pay for the heat, let me tell you.
So when you bought all those other buildings, this one, of course, you didn't call Snisbees. Did you give it?
We called this Nisbe's,
You
yes.
did?
For sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't for how long? So
Not very long.
not very long before
No,
you
well,
decided.
when we moved in,
Okay. It was Snisbees when you first moved in? Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
It was
I would've been
Nisbe's when we moved in.
Okay.
They were running
Yeah.
dime stores. I was their bookkeeper.
For all of
I was
those?
16.
Yes, she's 16. She
Well,
was
talk
a-
about on-the-job training.
Yes, she's got it.
Whoa.
And you know what she did before those?
What?
She sold jeans down at Jumpin' Jeans.
Okay. Oh,
Oh, I tell this story when the kids could put their chin on the counter. That's when they started work. And that's when she started too.
well, when did you start, Jackie? How old were you before you did the bookkeeping for the?
You were
I
junior
worked
high.
at Jumpin' Jeans when I was 12 years old. I was
I'm talking.
I ironed his samples
We will not tell
for
anybody in the
$1 a
government.
day or something.
Yeah.
I ironed his samples all day long in the back of the Jumpin' Jeans store.
Well, and that served you well later on when you were managing all those young high school girls that were not folding properly, right? Among them, my own kids, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well, Sue, then did you work at Snisby / Clothing Company at first, next to Jim?
Well, what happened was our son Jim entered kindergarten that year, 75,
Okay.
and I'd been a housewife all that time, from 57 to 75.
Right.
So I walked in and he was working at where the Market Mall was, and I said, "I'm free. I don't have kids." This is, "Oh no, you're not."
Your career
Right then
is
and
just
there.
beginning,
Yes,
huh?
and that's when I
She
started.
could get her chin on the counter, you know, so you're hired.
Yeah, well, she's kind of small, so maybe some of the kids got their chins
You know,
on
I
the
want
counter
to tell you
sooner,
a
huh?
cute story that I remember once in a while, but
Okay.
eventually we moved from the Market Mall into our new store, right?
Right.
And I don't know if you remember, but in the Market Mall there was the place that sold the Oshkosh and that,
general store.
a general store.
I just
And
said
in
it.
the general store, they had this beautiful old checkout counter. It's like 3 feet by 12. And I loved that thing. So I bought it from them. And we took it out and pushed it down the street. I mean, it was huge.
Is that your counter that's in
And
there
that's
now?
the counter we have today.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Well,
It
there's
came
a
from-
piece.
It was like an old time general store counter, you
It
know.
came from Grant, Michigan.
Well,
I
I'm going to think differently now when I'm checking out.
Yeah, I love that counter.
Well, yeah,
Beautiful.
that's a piece of history. In
But I
itself.
just remember
pushing it down. the
pushing it
street.
down the street, and I mean,
Oh my God.
people looking at us, and we're selling stuff because we're moving too.
What did you do with all that? The Dalquist stuff. Is that were you pushing it for $3 a cart, getting rid of all that stuff when you got here?
No. we evidently closed the logo store, didn't we?
Yeah, it had sales. I think we had.
Yeah, we had a
Big
big
sales.
sale.
Yeah, it's starting to get your quality merchandise
Yeah.
in.
Right.
So, okay, so
Can
now
I tell you another cute little
yes,
story?
by all
that's
means. This is what
I
we
don't know
want.
if I should tell you this because, of course, we had to finance all these buildings and they had inventory in those stores, right?
Yeah,
Right.
and managers and employees.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was terrible.
I
That
bet.
part of it, because I didn't do well with that. I borrowed the money from the bank, right?
Charlevoix
the-
State? Was that
First
Lou,
State Bank.
was Lou
First-
Hollow
It was
involved in
First
that?
State.
Oh, yeah.
He
Yes.
was the guy who gave me the loan.
Oh, you know,
Okay.
his name comes up again and again.
Okay, let me tell you.
Okay,
So I don't want to tell you how much I borrowed, but it was a lot, okay?
well, I would think.
Yeah, because he was great, you know, yeah, I'll do it. So anyhow, I have this big loan that I have to pay off. So we had all these stores with a bunch of junk in them. So we had big sales. And the sales, you know, were quite successful because there's 11 of them.
Yeah, yeah,
So we had quite
quite a lot.
So we had this big sale where we got rid of what you would normally do anyhow, get rid of all of them. So you could put your jeans in there, but jeans didn't go very well.
Oh, they didn't.
No.
Did you actually get rid of those buildings there? And you sold them off?
Yeah, I
right?
did
One by
sell
one.
them.
And that must have
Yes.
been such a relief for the
Oh,
bank, for you and the bank.
It was.
No, well, let me tell you about the original loan.
Yeah,
So we had this sale, right,
Right.
in all the stores, and it was quite successful because I had a little knowledge about that stuff. And I take the money back into Lou.
Uh-huh.
In
I
a
want to pay
short
off
time.
my loan. Paid off the whole loan.
with the sales.
Yeah. And he says,
In a short time.
Oh, my
you know what he said?
Huh.
Why didn't you ask me to be your partner? This is great. I can't believe this.
my gosh.
And I love Lou. I mean,
oh, I
God,
know.
I've missed him already.
I'll tell you what, he really got a
Jesus.
lot of people's businesses
Yeah,
off the
he
ground,
did.
didn't
He
he?
really did.
But
So now you're in the clothing company and things are going well. How long was it before Judith designed the logo? This was your daughter, one of your four kids?
she was at
84.
Michigan State. She was a freshman?
Sophomore.
Sophomore?
And it's called Stacked Charlevoix, right?
Yes, yes.
The sailboat.
Yeah, and I remember we were driving somewhere and she said, Dad, what do you think of this design? And she was in the back seat. I don't know. Kind of funny.
Funny,
It's
wonderful,
different.
huh?
I mean, it's
It was
different.
very different. It was very modern
So,
compared to what
Yeah.
you normally saw.
It just took off.
Yeah.
You know why? Because we were at the right time, and you know, I mean, there weren't a lot of things with Charlevoix on them,
Right.
and there weren't a
It was
lot
sort
of.
of like before
there weren't a
t-shirt
lot of.
shops.
It was
Right.
before
Oh,
T-shirts.
Well before.
Yes.
You were on the cutting edge.
Yeah, we were.
And
yes.
that was Judith, I mean, her
She's always
concept,
been
her
a couple years
concept.
ahead of
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
And what I remember from your early years too is your whole family working there and the dog. Tell me about your dog.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Oh, it's
gosh.
so wonderful.
He
We
was.
love that dog.
We all walked over him and just enjoyed his.
Right, and customers would come in with babies and the babies would lie on him, drinking a bottle while they're shopping.
They really didn't buy anything, but they came
Yeah,
in
they-
to see the dog.
Well, they might have bought a few things. And now you notice Darcy at the lake house has her
Yes.
dog there too.
Oh, well,
And I
yeah.
bet she remembers, you know,
Yeah.
you
Well,
guys and Bo,
I think
right?
she does, yeah.
I think she does too.
Darcy worked for us for a long
Yeah.
time, so.
So I remember in talking to Jackie the first time that, okay, so now the logo is there and things are starting to take off. And I think that was the inception of the idea of doing harbor wear. Is that correct?
Exactly. Oh,
That's-
yeah.
So now we're talking
Yeah.
about an offshoot of the clothing company. Now you've gotten rid of all of those
Yeah, but
Doubtless
then,
buildings,
then
right?
also, we opened a store called Cotton Jack's,
Oh,
which
sure.
your daughter was
Sure.
she kind of managing it?
Well, I
Well,
think she worked there with Penny. There was
maybe.
there was someone else there.
Wasn't it?
Randy Carey's.
No, it was I'm sure it was.
Well, I know my
Your
kids worked there,
Kelly's.
so it
Yeah.
could have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie Lou Hollows. Jamie Mulligan worked there.
Yeah.
She worked there
She
too?
ran the
Yeah,
store.
she did.
You gave so many kids in town that oomph
There
to
was,
get into retail.
there was no other place for them to work.
Well, they loved it. They loved it. So tell us about Harborware now gets going. And who starts to, where, I know it started here in town, but now all of a sudden there's like 10 of them? 12? I don't know. You've got them all over the place.
Well, we did.
We did.
A lot of them are closed since
Okay.
the people that bought them from us.
But you tried to keep things in the family, is that right?
Well, in the beginning, it was a good friend of ours who opened them in Grand Haven,
Mm-hmm.
and then it kind of blossomed from there.
Sure.
Then our relatives, Sue's relatives, and
My relatives, of which there
And,
are a lot, and
But the actual Harborware name, right, is around
that
like,
was yours, wasn't it? Your idea?
as long as you were in the
Well, we
nautical
started
thing?
here, you know, we started with the nautical flags.
Yeah.
That was our big thing, and then,
We opened up Mataski,
yeah,
Harbor Springs. Those are Judith's.
you know,
stores.
just,
Mackinac City,
Mackinac
Travis City, Elk Rapids, Sutton's Bay, Glen Arbor, Frankfurt, and 4 in Door County, and some in Florida, and now there's still one on Amelia Island.
right.
yes, there
I mean,
is.
this is quite the legacy
There
that
were
all
about-
got started, huh?
Well, they were all relatives or friends or,
Yeah,
Okay.
or people that have,
kids that had
Is
worked
that called
for us.
nepotism, or?
Well, but a lot of the,
a lot of the
Okay.
kids that worked for us
Yeah,
were in
kids that worked
college
for
and
us.
they,
Sure, sure.
oh, do you think you could open us a store? Sure, where do you want to go?
That's a wonderful thing.
So we did that for Holland, and
Uh-huh.
of course, you know, just this might be kind of interesting, but it is to me anyhow. But one time we were on our way down to Florida, weren't we? And we said, "Let's count how many stores
Oh, that's
you've
right.
opened."
Ah,
Now,
Stores that we
what we're
opened.
talking about is the Jumpin' Jeans stores
yeah,
and the 11 Dahlquist stores.
yeah.
And then at that time, I don't know how many Harborware
I
stores
think
we
they had
had.
about 40.
No, the count was 63.
Yeah, we were way
Oh,
up. in the-
my gosh.
Those are just,
And Jackie, were you
think
still doing the bookkeeping?
No,
No,
Not for 63 stores.
no.
Oh
I did
my-
work in the office for a while, but then he sent me on the road.
Uh-oh. What does that mean? As a buyer?
It was fun. Yeah,
Oh.
I did do the buying, but I also checked on the stores, went from town to town.
Oh,
Spent a couple weeks in Florida.
that was the best
Yeah,
jag, right?
working those stores during the
when we
summer
had the
were fun.
dime,
It's a
excuse
nice
me,
job.
when we had the dime stores,
Uh-huh.
in the stores we carried McCall patterns.
Sure, we remember those.
Okay, Sue was our McCall pattern person. She would have to go down to Mansalona or wherever it was.
Kalkaska.
Because the patterns would go out of style, so you had to send them back and you'd get new ones.
Okay.
Remember?
Was
That
it-
was
Oh,
your
yes, I
job.
do remember
Gosh,
Was there a big business in McCall Patterns?
it was big business,
Well,
yeah.
at that time, people were doing a lot of sewing.
I remember, I did
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, we-
Now we
I
don't.
did too.
I think we had $2,000 or $3,000 worth of inventory of McCalls. It
Okay.
was quite, you know, it was substantial.
Yeah.
So when you first got started, your main inventory was no longer just jeans, jumping or otherwise, right? You
Right.
started branching out and to all the different other kinds of clothing. And who did the buying at that time before Jackie?
Well, you know,
Jim?
You did.
yeah, I guess I did.
So you went traveling about to
Well,
what, Chicago?
I've always
or-
liked
Chicago.
retailing.
Okay.
You know, I've been, when I got out of college, my first job was at J.L. Hudson's in Detroit,
Uh-huh.
department store.
Okay,
So,
those are pretty good.
and then while I was in college, I worked at a men's clothing store for 3 or 4 years.
Okay,
And so guess I had it in my blood or something.
sure, sure. So
Well,
now it gets to be getting on here, and like, it was 1993, right, Jackie? You married Kirby.
Yes.
When did you actually take over the store for Dad, who decided he'd concentrate on harborware?
It was January 1st, 1994.
Okay.
Yep.
So-
Okay,
Was it January 1st?
we had a little office, you know where
Esperance.
Esperance is now?
Yes.
We had our, kind of our office there, company office, where we did our bookkeeping and stuff.
Okay.
We had like 10 or 12 stores going at the time, and things were really going good in this area. And she was running the clothing company store because I didn't really have that much time to do it because we were printing and delivering and doing all kinds of stuff, all these stores. So one day I came up to Jack and I said, "Do you want that store? Would you like to buy it?" And she said, "Yes."
Like
Boy,
Like
let me tell you, it was a good
father,
deal
like
for
daughter.
her.
I'm still waiting for someone to do that to me.
Well, be careful what you wish for.
But,
Kids
but
can-
you know what? Since then, I bet I haven't been in the store 20, 30 times, have I?
In clothing company?
Comes in about
No,
once
because-
a year.
About once a year.
Because I do not want to be the guy that says, "Jack, you got to do it this way."
Ah,
You know, I felt like, let her do it her own way,
you
which
handed
is a
over the
lot better than
reins
what
and,
and
She
she's
did.
been terrific.
I made a lot of
She is-
mistakes.
but you've galloped away. I mean, think of how it's
Right.
growing
What
and
it is
continuing.
now.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the buying too of the merchandise because
It has.
Oh
lately.
my gosh, it's so important.
It's
Yeah.
so up to date, and you can go in there and know that you're, getting things that are popular and practical.
I think I told you I was a rep for Lady Wrangler sportswear. So I sold to a lot of retailers, in the state. So I was always working with retailers, and I knew what stores were doing, and I was kind of tuned in. So I guess that's where some of my experience came from. What to buy and what's selling and so forth.
So Jackie's got the clothing company. Did you say that the others also have stores? Does Judith have a store?
She has
Yes.
Petoskey and Harbor Springs.
Petoskey and Harbor Springs for the harborware. And then what about young Jim?
He has Mackinac City, and
Mackinac.
he has 2 stores there.
In Mackinac City.
And who am I missing? Sue. Is she?
Sue and her husband moved to Glen Arbor, and they opened a store in Suttons Bay,
Okay.
and then Glen Arbor, and then Frankfurt.
So are they all watching their counters to see if they're on
Yes.
Yes, pretty
The
much.
3rd generation.
It's kind of like the
is coming.
same.
the same thing? But isn't it a wonderful thing, though, to have a place where your kids can work and learn a work ethic?
Well,
Our granddaughter, Sue's daughter, is buying one of the shops from her, so it's 3rd generation.
And so it goes.
that's in Sutton's
Suttons
Bay.
Bay.
So back
Yeah.
to you for a second, Jackie, because now you are in charge of clothing company. You get married to Kirby. And so he then, what did he buy or just manage harborware
Well,
next door
He was actually selling used cars
at the time? Mhm.
Yes, and he had a used car dealership with Chx Center,
Okay.
and they ended up. I think he sold it to Chuck, and then he started working for the harborware store.
Okay.
And then when it got the time where Dad wanted to retire, he kind of divvied up all the stores to the different families.
but they all had to buy them.
yeah,
Okay,
we did not get
They,
There ain't no free lunch in the Navy family.
So it
they
wasn't really
bought,
divvying.
they've done it themselves. They have.
Yeah.
So Kirby, we ended up with Charlevoix Wear, and
Okay.
the clothing company is a big time consumer, so
Uh-huh.
Kirby just took over that.
Right. And when you say Charlevoix wear, it's really harborware
Harborware, right.
Charlevoix
It
wear.
was
They're
the
kind of
first store,
synonymous.
so
And we
First
never
one.
changed
We
the
called
name
it
because
Charlevoix.
Yeah.
that was our first store, yeah.
So now there is this whole, well, I guess a maybe empire, which is now part diaper and
Well,
part
it's
all
not
of the other
ours,
people.
it's
Yeah, but you
they're
built
all-
it. You built it, aren't you?
yeah, we.
What a
we-
wonderful
we,
legacy.
we started it, but we don't.
It's still all we talk about it every
Right.
Easter,
together.
Christmas, Thanksgiving. We're
Yeah.
all
What are you
about
buying?
T-shirts and
You know,
There's never a lack of conversation.
Oh,
no,
right?
there isn't. We have a
never.
lot in common.
of course, the grandkids, I couldn't care less. They're wandering
Not
around.
yet. But wait till their chin gets up to
That's
the
right.
counter. They'll care a lot more then.
We're
So,
getting close.
so in
Even the
retirement,
our great grandkids
are getting up there?
are getting, no, they're about like this, I think.
Yeah. So
So,
before I get to talk about how you're feeling about looking back on all this for retirement, and Jackie, why don't you just, how do you feel about carrying on the banner of the family and your mission statement? You know, like you said in the article, is to make people feel at home. Just
Yeah, we have a great atmosphere in the store. I think everybody loves to come to work, and I love to go to work. I mean, it's a great job because you're basically around clothes. I mean, what could be better? So I think everybody that works there tends to try to make people feel like they're coming, into a place that they're comfortable with, like a home-like atmosphere. And we call it, one of the girls at the store calls it the fun factory, which it is most days.
everyone's enjoying.
And I guess, we just like to make customers feel that way when they walk in the door.
Yeah, I think that when we talked, you said you would describe your merchandise as comfortably smart and reasonably priced. A good way to describe clothing company merchandise. And I think that's why all of us in town and those resort people that come back again and again.
Right.
Because they feel comfortable there and they know that they can get a good deal or at least quality for maybe less than other places, but feel good about
And
it.
that would be my father. He's the one that taught me that.
Okay.
The price is just as important, quality as quality, and vice versa. But you really need to, in a small town where there's varying incomes, you need to kind of keep an eye on your prices just so it's affordable for everybody,
Right.
which gets harder every year.
Absolutely. And so, is this nostalgic for you, Mr. and Mrs. maybe, as far as, coming into town and seeing your stores and seeing the continuation? It must be a little nostalgic
It is,
thinking,
yeah.
gosh,
I just think we're lucky.
oh, yeah. But it's a wonderful
We
thing, what you
came
built.
just at the right time.
Yes.
Yeah, timing is so
75.
important,
Yeah, it
It
is.
really is.
But there were hard years in there, in the 70s and everything.
Yeah.
And that was
It was
pretty,
But-
difficult.
uh-huh.
The timing, is, well, look at Charlevoix, look at this building.
How it's
Oh, my goodness. I know.
blossomed.
It has.
The kids used to come to our store to eat lunch in their basement when they were in middle school here.
Uh-huh.
Our
I
son-
remember
Our
that.
son
It-
Jim's.
The tunnel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right,
I remember
right.
that too. Oh, and I remember one time, I think when I was talking with Jackie in the store, you know how you had all the employees write their names
Yes.
on the
Yeah.
post going down there? I mean, it just kind of shows there's a camaraderie going on, that it's sort of a family thing.
And people that have worked before come back and put their name on there.
Like Boogie Carlson,
Yeah, that's right. Well, and Amy still
all
has
the
to do that, I
Widow
told her.
boys.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Well, you have left a wonderful legacy for the town, and I think that the story about this will be a legacy for your family too, to be able to see, Jim and Sue telling the story, Jackie carrying it on, and then all those little ones coming
Right.
up, the
Yes.
same thing.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to remember or to tell us about? Because we've just really enjoyed talking with you today.
other than I think, timing is so important. We were so lucky for the timing, being at the right place, the right time, and the town was just growing,
And
and,
they welcomed us, really.
and we had a dog too.
The town really welcomed us
Yeah.
to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So now you're out in Norwood, enjoying retirement. Do you go down to Florida anymore, or I mean, here it is winter and you're here, so I'm thinking not so much.
No, we don't.
No.
No, we're,
Not so much. But when you did go down there, that's when you had some shops down there as well, too.
yes, that's right. We had
Okay.
a few shops.
Then
down
when we really, really retired, we just went down for fun.
Okay. Well, Amelia Island's still a wonderful place if you had to go
Yeah,
visit. If you
there.
had
Still
to
a
go.
good store
Yes,
too.
yes.
Hey, thanks
very good
very
store.
much, all of you,
you.
for being here
Okay.
today. And It was really.
Can we go to the
enjoyable.
townhouse now?
That's right, for our Bloody Mary. That sounds wonderful. Thanks.